Okay. Welcome, everyone. I'm Dacia Ryszkowski, the current president of Blue Springs Downtown Alive. Thank you for joining us tonight for the dedication of the Downtown Blue Springs West Gateway. I hope you noticed the new U.S. flags flying from some light poles between 15th Street and 7 Highway, donated by the Elks Club. Who thinks we need to add more U.S. flags on Main Street? Show of hands, yay. Board of Directors, Downtown Alive, you guys okay with that? More for U.S. flags? All right, we got it. We have also introduced our new logo. Designed by Jake Greco on all of our social media. Soon we'll be hanging up our Welcome to Blue Springs banners, complete with the new logo. Also, while you're downtown tonight, you may want to stop by the city parking lot at 12th and Main and check out the new, almost finished mural by Doug Bennett, right over here. Thank you, Doug. And before I forget, thanks to David Watson for filming today. Now I'd like to introduce the mayor and the city council. Please wave if you're here. Mayor Carson Ross. District 1, Galen Erickson and Jerry Kaler. District 2, Kent Edmondson and Chris Livesey, who's also Mayor Pro Tem. District 3, Susan Culpepper and Ron Fowler. Next, I'd like to introduce our board of directors. Again, wave if you're here tonight. Lyle Shaver, vice president. Jen Hochschild, treasurer. Jake Greco, secretary with the sign. And the following at-large members: Vicki Jack, Tessa Goldsworthy, Jamie Russell. Oh, she's hiding. Okay. Susan Culpepper, Jamarcus McGee, Galen Erickson, Kay Burris, Kelly Michael O'Reilly, Annette Seago, and Robin Terry Revels. Also, please welcome Pam Buck, our about to retire executive director. I'd also like to announce our new executive director, John Burke, hiding with the hat back there. And John will be starting July 5th, but he's already attended several of our events. Now I'll turn the microphone over to Cindy Miller, also on the Downtown Live board as past president and project manager of the Gateway Project, to tell you more about this special project.
What'd you say? Hi, everyone. I don't know that I'm project manager as much as the whip cracker. That's what I do. Get that done. And they don't listen sometimes. So thanks all to everyone for coming tonight. I want to tell you a little bit about the story of our gateway before we get started here. Back in June of 2021, we dedicated our gateway on the east end of town. It was finished for a little while, but due to COVID, we had to delay our dedication. And so we weren't sure about this West Gateway. It was on our radar, but we spent all of our money. We didn't have any funds for that. So we weren't really sure if it was going to happen, and if it was, when. So we were fortunate enough to have some seed money given to us, just like the previous gateway. And right before our dedication event, a gentleman and his wife came forward and gave us $5,000 to start this gateway. And that's Bert and Rachel Sunvold. I don't think they're here yet tonight. Pam's been calling them. They committed to being here. I don't know, they might be stuck in traffic or something. Maybe that's them. Oh no. Anyway, they'll be here eventually, and I'll make sure that you know who they are. But thank you to Rachel and Bert for giving us that $5,000. So at that point, we decided, yeah, we're going to go ahead with this gateway. We have a little bit of money. It's not going to cost nearly as much as the $65,000 gateway on the east end of town, but we were going to move forward with it anyway. So we got a commitment that same dedication day from our concrete man, Mike Butler, with Associated Basements. He committed to coming through and pouring the concrete, pouring the footings, doing what it took to get this gateway moving forward. And he's supposed to be here too. I'm sure he's finishing up on some job somewhere and will show up in a little while. So we were fortunate that when we developed the plans for the East Gateway, that our engineer, Joe Lampin with Lampin Engineering, kind of had this second gateway on his radar and had the plans pretty much identified. The only thing we had to change, we decided this one needed to be a little bit smaller because of this extra turn lane and for various reasons. So we scaled it down. So these two pillars are, I think, 75% of the size of the others, and we knew we weren't going to have a beam across the street, so we knew it was going to be cheaper. So we were still ready to go, but didn't have quite enough money. $5,000 wasn't going to make it. We met with Public Works anyway to find out where the exact placement needed to be, got that identified. And in March of 2022, we got our prints finalized, filed for our permit with the city, and got going. Wasn't quite ready to go. And so we were kind of putting out information about this gateway. And then lo and behold, we had a very generous donation from St. Mary's Medical Center here in town. Kelly Pierce is here tonight. Gave us an additional $5,000. Thank you. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, St. Mary's. So we thought, okay, we've got 10 grand. Surely we can get something going. So we did. You know, that's kind of how we do things. We have a little bit of money, we move forward, and somehow we end up paying for the whole thing from all of you generous people. So in October of 2022, Mike Butler and his crew showed up, dug the footings, got the concrete poured for that. Later in October, the framing began, so that whole thing is framed by steel studs that are weatherproof and all that, got that finished. Then in November, Steve Pretty's company, Midwest Exteriors, started on the stucco. And later that month, we had the cap put on, and that was donated by Millbank Manufacturing, who has nothing to do with Blue Springs, but somehow they are fans of ours, and they always come through. So thanks to them. Then winter came, so we had to pause a little bit because it was, you know, rainy and snowy and cold. So we waited. Well, along came April. It was time, warming up, time for things to happen. So my Steve Greer and Pam Steve Buck, I always call him Steve Buck, he's Steve Werger. We had to have solar. This gateway called for solar because we didn't put in all the power infrastructure like we did with the other gateway. These guys figured out how to make this thing work on solar power, something that was new, I think, to both of you a little bit. To you, I think. To my husband, for sure. I don't know where he is. He's hiding back there. Oh, yeah, they had to figure that out. We watched a lot of YouTube videos about solar. We got David Mann involved. He's kind of a solar guru, and he helped us out. And we got the solar installed. They worked really hard on a hot day. My husband actually crawled through that little tiny hole and got up in there, and I thought, I might never see him again. I don't know how he's going to get out. Somehow, he fit through the hole in, and he came back out. Here he is today. Yeah. So then, once the solar was done, we needed to get the curbs around the gateway. So Mike Butler and his crew came through again, once again, showed up on a hot day, poured concrete. Then we kind of appealed to the city because they found and added our landscape rock on the other gateway, and we wanted that to match. So we asked them if they would do that, and they agreed. So they, in May, brought in the rock and added that into the gateway. So it was kind of finished, and here we are today, June 1st, less than the time it took to build the other gateway. Here we are dedicating this for all of the community to enjoy and to mark the grand entrance into our downtown district from the west, and that's the goal of these gateways. Some people love them, some people don't. We always listen to the people who love them. Yeah. So at this time, I really want to recognize the donors. Again, Bert and Rachel Sunvold, I don't think they're here yet, but they gave us that $5,000. St. Mary's, again, gave us $5,000. John and Vicki Jack have been fans of our downtown district for so long. They gave us $2,000. Thank you for that. Here's our plaque. My husband and I are on there. We probably should be farther down, but I should be. But my husband worked hard making this gateway happen, and I really worked hard on the whip cracking business. And then Mike Butler with Associated Basement Company, he's, again, not here yet. He donated so much of his time and materials. There were like 8 or 9 guys here all day doing both of these things, and that's not cheap. I think we're going to owe him a little bit of money because we have to pay for the concrete, but he's supposed to be sending a bill. I don't know if we're ever going to get it. So thanks to him. Kent and Sue Edmondson, Councilmember Kent Edmondson and his wife gave $1,000. Thank you, Kent. And then we have the in-kind from Joe Lampin and Lampin Engineering. He's on the plaque for all he had to do. He never charged us anything for either of these gateways, and he had never done a gateway before. We had never done a gateway before. Somehow he figured it out, and we followed his plans, and it was perfect. Then we have Ken Billups Jr. and Jennifer Billups. They gave $500. Thank you for that. Greco Insurance Agency, Jake, hi, thank you, $500. And then Pam and Steve Buck. So this is funny. Our other gateway says Pam and Steve Werger. I don't think Steve knows this, but she put on the plaque Pam and Steve Buck. I think that's because I always call him Steve Buck.
Inside joke.
Inside joke. So thank you for all your help and for your cash money. Jennifer Hoschild, always a big supporter, gave $500. She's always supported Downtown Alive. And then we have Al and his wife from Midwest Blue Oval Car Club. They host their car club, Ford Car Club, down here every year, and they charge for their entry fees and make a little bit of money, and they give that money to us. And so thank you so much. First of all, for having your car crews and drawing people down here, and second of all, for your generous donations. We appreciate that a lot. Thank you. They almost went to Lee Summit, so yeah, they did not. And then last but not least, we have Millbank Manufacturing, who gave the cap that goes around. That's what keeps it watertight, keeps all the weather from going down inside, shorten out the batteries, making the solar not work. I don't know what else could happen. So thanks to them for doing that. I don't think they came last time, and they didn't come here this time. So we appreciate that. So in all, this was about a $15,500 or so project. We had a lot of in-kind labor, like I said, that played a huge part in getting this completed. Our expenses were around $15,000, so we actually didn't go in the hole. Yay, thank you. So thank you all for making this happen. It's a huge thing, I think, for our community. I think, like I said before, it marks the entrance into our downtown district, and when you come around the corner, both from the east and the west, you know you're in the downtown district, and I think that's huge. It's been on the city's master plan, and we followed through, and we're happy to dedicate this to our community. So thank you all. Just in case you thought I might be done, I'm not. We wanted to do another special presentation tonight, and I'm going to try to get through this without getting teary-eyed. So, Vicki Jack and her husband, the Honorable Judge John Jack, have been the biggest supporters of our downtown district. They bought the Citizens Bank building in the 80s. Am I right, Vicki? In the 80s. They were the first ones who came to downtown and renovated a building. They did an amazing job renovating their building and have always supported all the different groups that tried to make something happen in downtown over the years. And there was a lot of them. Galen was involved in a lot of them. I was. A lot of you all. Kent was. A lot of people were involved in a lot of these different groups along the way. And John and Vicki never gave up. They knew that at some point something was going to happen. So we wanted to thank them for being huge supporters of our downtown district. They've not only given financial support, cash money, every event, every gala, everything we have, they give cash, money, and support us and help us pay for it. They fund things themselves. They have given our Downtown Alive group an office space for, I don't know, years? I mean, a few, like 10 years. free of charge. They pay the bills. We just show up, use their internet, make it our office space, and they've never charged us a penny. It's because of Vicky Jack that we have our 501c3, which makes all your donations tax deductible, and which is a huge thing for our group. And John Jack, when he was the Swami at our gala, it was the biggest event we had. The ladies were standing in line from me to that pillar, waiting for Judge John Jack to tell their fortune with his Swami hat on. And for that, they got a little piece of jewelry that was pretty much worthless, but they stood in line and waited for him to tell their fortune, and it was the best. It's just one of the ways they give back to their community. So we talked about it at our last board meeting, our May board meeting, and we decided for the board unanimously to dedicate a tree in memory of the Honorable Judge John Jack. And we're going to place that tree at the Public Safety Building. And we have developed a plaque, and I want to read that to you. It says, "In memory of the Honorable Judge John Jack, serving his community from 1979 to 2018. He loved his family and friends, a good laugh, and the truth. Judge Jack will be missed by all." So this is a sample of the plaque, and it'll be similar to this plaque, and it will be in front of the tree that we plan to plant at the Public Safety Building, just to thank them, thank Judge Jack, and to thank Vicky Jack for all they've done for downtown. So thank you guys. Thank you so much. I think Dacia mentioned the mural. We have some information on our refreshment table that tells a little bit about the mural that Doug Bennett painted for us. It's amazing, kind of complements the Cats on Main project. I don't have any, you want to say anything?
Can we have all the donors
Yes.
group together with the plaque for?
Yes. We'd like to have anyone who made a donation come up here, and we'll take a nice little picture of everyone with our plaque.
We'll be in front of the podium, so you don't have to move your camera.
Make sure that you have some refreshments. We have some pretty cool wine and soda and cookies. And again, I just want to thank you all for coming out. Thank you, Mr. Watson, for videoing us all the time. He always shows up. I'm not sure if he wants to. We always invite him, and he just comes. He wants to? Yeah, thank you so much. We also need to make sure we introduce Christine Cates. She's our acting city administrator at this time. Thank you, Christine. We may be hearing news soon. We don't know, hopefully, someday. Mr. Mayor, would you like to say anything?
Well, I can say it from here. I'm happy that all of you came out for this occasion today. Now we have the downtown anchor with the gateway from the west and a gateway from the east. And I like to thank the mayor of downtown between those two gateways, Cindy Miller. Mayor Miller.
Oh, I don't think so. You're a funny one. Yeah.
I certainly want to make one correction, because I have to keep peace on the city council. Kent is no longer the mayor pro tem. Galen Erickson is.
Oh, Galen Erickson is in there.
Yes, I want to make sure everybody.
All right.
We apologize for that.
We don't want
Yeah.
to be holiday end up like Washington,
I
D.C.
just went by the city website.
We're super sorry. We stand corrected. Thank you for pointing that out. We're sorry. Yeah, we didn't mean to do that. But yeah. So stick around, have some refreshments, look at the plaque. Let's get our pictures taken. Make sure to, thank Vicki and John for all that they've done. And all of you donors, again, thank you so much for coming out tonight. Thank you so much for everything you do for downtown. Doug Bennett, thank you for making this. Doug also, in case you don't know, he also painted 2 murals on our shipping containers that are on Oak Street. They're very cool. He did an amazing job on 2 ugly containers that should probably have, by all rights, been moved, but they were grandfathered in. So instead of having them be an eyesore, we made them a photo opportunity. So it works out really well. So thank you, Doug, for that too. Yeah. Okay.
You want to hold the plaque since you're one of the donors?
Thanks, everyone. Thanks.